So while I was at Germantown Middle, I observed a lot of things. It was very fast paced compared to the high school experience. And every day I was there, we were doing something else. We were running all over the building. One of the things I got to do was an interview with one of the students. She was a sixth grade girl, and we discussed inclusion. She talked about how at Germantown she has a mostly positive experience. There have been a couple things where she has not gotten what she needs. And the problem that Germantown experiences a good bit is that teachers do not want to comply with the IEP. And the majority of this student's teachers would comply with it, but her homeroom teacher would not. Her homeroom teacher would often get angry at her. They'd have disagreements. The student said that sometimes her teacher would seem violent with her. And would often lock her out of the room or send her to Miss Staten's room. Miss Staten is the SPED teacher. So that was one of her experiences, but she said that overall her other teachers are very nice and accommodating and accepting of her and her disability, which is ADHD and anxiety. When it comes to other students, she said that she mostly has good experiences as well, but she is bullied some by some of the students who bully the people who don't seem to fit in or are normal, which I feel like is the case for a lot of students who are bullied, unfortunately, and that she's heard girls at school talking behind her back. So in order to cope with this and her teacher, she will go to Miss Staten and spend time with her, and Miss Staten will give her advice and just talk with her and be a friend. Other times she'll go to her other teachers or to the guidance counselor, who we got to work with some while at the middle school, or she'll just go to the bathroom to calm herself down. But overall, she said that she has a good experience with teachers following her IEP and providing her an environment where she is able to learn. The other thing I got to do was observe a emotional behavior classroom at Germantown. It is called STEP, which is you step out of the general education classroom into this other classroom. During one of my days at Germantown, Miss Staten was not able to be with us because she had other stuff going on. So I got to sit in for the entire day in one of these classrooms. So there were two students that were in there for the entire day, or they might have left for a period or two, but for the most part, they were there the entire day. And then there were some other students that would check in throughout the day, but mainly it was these two students. And there was a lot of things that we got to see and hear about that they do with these students to help with behavior issues. So one of the things that they'd implemented was a timer to where they will have the students work on schoolwork for, let's say, 5 minutes, and then they'll get a 5-minute break. The students in this classroom cannot work for an hour straight. They have to use some kind of system where they get breaks all the time. And the teacher said that she's been able to build up with some of the students. So one of her students she'd been with for 3 years, they'd been able to build up to 15 minutes of work and then a 5-minute break. But some of the students, it's 5 minutes of work and then a 5-minute break. The breaks, they can do whatever they want. They can watch videos, listen to music, get up and dance, do a brain break, whatever they feel like doing. Another thing that they do is they clearly establish expectations with lists throughout the room of just things that they need to be doing and rules they should be following. And a lot of the time, these rules are built around things that got them removed from the general education setting. So they had a chart where all the names were listed, as well as the day of the week and the rules, and then they'd get marks based off of when they would break a rule. If they would go the entire week without getting a mark, they'd get a reward, be it like a pizza party or a new book from the teacher. Or if they were exceptionally good one day, they might get a mark removed. But the teacher said something I really liked, which is that the goal of the the STEP classroom is to work yourself out of a job, to where these students do not need STEP anymore, which I thought was a really cool thing that she said. So yeah, another thing that they do in this classroom, it's all about getting them to focus and laying out expectations. So another thing that they do is that they would clearly lay out the agenda for what they'd be working on, to where like, okay, in 10 minutes, we're going to be working on this. So that way the students are prepared for when they're moving on to something new, to where they don't get anxious and mad at the teacher. But it's all about laying out what they're going to do where the students aren't surprised, and then working with them. The teacher also tries to emphasize one-on-one time with the students, because there's not that many students in the classroom. She's able to work with them one-on-one, to where she will work with them to get their work done, and that really helps the students because she knows what they need and can help them work through it without them getting upset. So yeah, I really enjoyed my time at Germantown Middle. I do think I enjoyed it more than the high school experience, just because I got to be more involved. But I did learn a lot, especially the day that I was in the emotional behavior classroom.